everyone, and welcome back to Mariana. No, but I was going to say my booktube name. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Happening by Chance. My name is Mariana, and today I have a fun video for you. Emphasis on the fun. That I wasn't going to upload to YouTube, but it ended up being really fun, and I thought it might be fun to watch if I uploaded it to YouTube. So this was just like an invitation that one of the Discord members made to us to pull some cards regarding the situation of the heist in the Louvre. And as she put, when she invited us, she said, you know, if you are willing to be like lighthearted and do this just for fun, put on your detective cap on and see what shows up. And so of course I wanted to do it because I love divinatory reading. I love classic style, cartomantic style of reading, and it was a perfect opportunity to practice, especially with playing cards that I don't practice a lot with them. Anyway, so yeah, I decided to take up the challenge, and but I wanted to do a video instead of pictures because it's easier for me to, like, you know, do a reading in video. Anyway, so I was just going to do it for the Discord, but as I said, it ended up being very fun. And so I decided to upload it here to YouTube. So I hope you have fun watching this video. It was intended in the spirit of fun, and yeah, I'll just leave you with the video. Yeah. Hey guys, so here is my reading for the Louvre heist. First of all, thank you so much to Erin for the idea because it just sounds so fun. I love watching people on YouTube who do like reading about current events, but I'm always very like intimidated to do so when they are like political stuff and such. But this is like the perfect topic because it's very fun and it's not really like I'm not going to get into that, but this was a perfect topic, so thank you so much. So because I've never actually done one of these types of readings, I was thinking how I could go about it and how I wanted to do it. So my first thought was that I could grab different types of decks, tarot, oracle, maybe, I don't know, Marseille, RWS, like different voices, and to see like the different answers from different voices, like if it was like if you were consulting like a panel of experts kind of a thing. But then I thought it would be more appropriate is not the word, but like a better fit, I guess, a better fit to read with playing cards, because playing cards are very to the point. And when I thought of how I would interpret this type of reading, I realized that playing cards was, you know, the way to go. So that's what I'm going to do. And what I thought is that I'm going to answer like several questions, or ask, did I say answer? Ask several questions to the deck and just take out cards and see where it goes. So my first, I'm going to use the my favorite playing card deck, which is the Medieval Animals playing cards. I feel like this is one of those decks where every time I want to do a reading with playing cards, I grab this one. And it's one of those where you think I could only have this deck. Speaking about the tag, only one deck, this would be my only one playing card deck. So yeah, this is going to be the one. And Yeah, so my first question is going to be, are the jewels still in France? That's going to be my first question. Are the jewels still in France? Oh, also, I haven't like followed the news story since it broke out. I basically followed the memes. And I did watch a very interesting episode from one of my favorite YouTube shows. It's a Mexican show with an art historian and her partner, who is a communicologist, is that a word in English? And they have a show called Cultural Gossip, and it's on every Friday, and they basically give news, but only cultural news. And then they discuss them. And of course, the episode on Friday was a special episode to discuss the heist in the Louvre. And so they had an expert, I mean, an expert in French culture, not in like heists. And he was talking about like the political situation in France and why, like why this was possible, and like how cultural institutions in France have been declining, and Notre Dame basically burned down a while ago. So he talked about that, but other than that, I haven't followed the news, so I wouldn't know if like there has been a development. So if there has been, and I'm asking questions that the answer is already known, I'm sorry about that, and just you can just watch for the fun of watching card reading. So my first question is going to be if the jewels are still in France. And for this, what I'm going to do is, of course, often for these types of questions, you have to assign functions to the pips. I watch a Argentinian tarot reader who does predictions for soccer matches. I was going to say football because that's what we call it, but football, soccer. And she, if coins appear on the table, it means that there are going to be goals in the match. Like regardless of who. And but why am I talking about that? Anyway, I'm going to assign something to the cards. So basically what I'm going to say is red cards mean the jewels are still in France, and black cards mean the jewels are no longer in France. And so depending on how many cards and such, I will make an interpretation according to if they are still in France, and if not, if they are close, if they're far away, like a hot and cold kind of a thing. So red cards are hot, black cards are cold. I didn't even think it like that until I said this. So I'm going to pull, let's say, 5 cards. I was going to pull 3, but I want to do a hot and cold. No, okay, 3 cards. I'm going to pull 3 to 5 cards. 3 cards if the answer is clear. If it's not, then more. I mean, obviously with 3 cards it's going to be clear, right? Can you tell playing cards is not my main method? Okay, so enough. 3 cards to see if the jewels are still in France. Let's see, so I want to go here. So we have black, red, 4 black. So the jewels are not still in France because we have 2 black, 1 red. And if I were, okay, yes, let's extend this. Let's pull 3 more cards. Let's see to check I'm still in frame. So they are not. Let's pull 3 more cards to see. Okay, no, here, yeah. Okay, so they're not still in France and they seem to be not close. So I was going to say in another country, but obviously in another country. So I'm going to say, maybe they are no longer even in like the Europe area. Maybe, I mean, for us here in, at least in Mexico, I feel like the UK is still considered a part of Europe, but I feel like in the UK and in Europe they don't consider them the same thing. And if you think about the European Union, they're not part of it. So maybe it's in the UK with a collector, or maybe it's in the US even in the hands of a collector, and I'm assuming it's a collector, but let's confirm that with some cards. So I'm going to say they're not in France and they're not, maybe not even in Europe. Maybe they already crossed, or if they are in Europe, they're like far from France, so like not in the neighboring countries. Okay, yeah, so that would be for this part of the reading. And let's now ask the deck why the jewels were stolen. So what was the motive of the crime? This is fun. Okay, so why were the jewels stolen? And in this case, I'm liberating the deck from the hot and cold dynamic, obviously, because that was only for the first question. The way I'm going to read them is by how I read them, but with the functions applied to this particular case. So because I'm going to ask for a motive, I don't want only 3 cards, I want 5 cards, because I don't know, I feel like 5 card lines are more useful in terms of information. So let's see. Okay, one more. I love playing card decks because see how easy they are to shuffle. I can't shuffle like this with a tarot deck. If you've seen me do readings on screen with tarot, I can never do this so easily. So let's ask for 5 cards. Why were the jewels stolen? Let's see. Oh, okay. This is surprising to me. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, it was this one. This one fell. It was this one. Wow, okay. That's surprising. I I don't know if I agree with the cards. So I was sure, or I am, that the motive was a collector who paid for the jewels, right? It was like that, yeah. But on Friday, when I saw the show I told you guys about, they were talking about the different um, theories that have been rolling around. And one of them is, of course, a private collector who commissioned these thieves for the jewels because they wanted them. And then the other theory was one of the other theories was that it was like a power move from another country, or not even from another country, but just like a power move to show the deterioration of the French cultural state. Those are not my words, those are, I'm repeating one of the theories that the French expert, or the expert in France, he wasn't French, but he lives in France, and apparently people are not happy with the way the government has been dealing with their cultural state. And so they were saying maybe it was a power move. And like in my mind, if swords, what's the word in English for this card? Spades, right? Spades. In Spanish, if you want to know, it's picas. So if spades cards came out, for me it would be a confirmation that it was related to power. But we don't have like a king of spades, right? Or like a queen of spades. But we do have the ace, right? So it's like, and but also because I'm surprised, because for me, if it was about like a commission from a collector that wanted them for monetary purposes, then I would have gotten some diamonds. But not only are there spades and hearts, there are no diamonds, not even one diamond card. So the card that, the ones that are the most and the only court card is the hearts. And for, like, I hadn't even thought about the hearts being an option, just because for me it was going to be either spades or diamonds, either power or money. But now that I'm seeing it, I'm thinking about it in terms of someone who wanted the jewels, but not necessarily for monetary purposes, like not to resell, maybe, but because they have an attachment to the jewels, maybe. Like maybe this comes from aristocracy. And I don't mean like a monarchical power, just like aristocracy in general, someone who wants the jewels for their value, not in terms of monetary, but maybe not sentimental. In this case, I don't think it's sentimental. I think it's for their value, maybe historical value, right? For the special nature of the jewels in terms of their history. So that makes me think it's maybe it still is a collector, right? Which, I mean, art collectors usually are aristocracy, especially if you are collecting monarchical jewels, right? So maybe it is a collector, but it was for the purposes of their collection. They really wanted this acquisition for their collection, which makes me think they must be pretty bummed that the crown fell off the fell off the truck or the during the escape or whatever. I'm betting the crown was important to them. And now this is another interesting because we have a queen and not a king. And if you saw the jewels that were stolen, several belonged to a queen. I don't remember her name, and I don't want to heavily edit this video, so I'm just going to, if you want you can Google, but a lot of them belong to a queen. I'm thinking maybe even the crown belonged to a queen, because at first I saw there were Napoleon's jewels, but the specific jewels belong to a queen, and we have the Queen of Hearts, you know. So yeah, that makes me think it's a person who wanted them for their value, but not necessarily for their monetary value. But obviously, you know, they had the like, I don't think the thieves are the ones who are doing like a power move, you know. I'm sure they got paid. Let's pull 3 more cards, and if we get diamonds, then that confirms that they did get paid by this. I'm thinking this is a collector who wanted them in the collection for their value, but not their monetary value. Let's ask for 3 cards to confirm. Just, it was someone who obviously had the means. So when I say aristocracy, you know, I mean like someone, what's this? I'm going to say it was my clumsiness. So obviously it was someone who had the means. You know, when I say aristocracy, I mean family. I keep dropping them. Okay. Some diamonds and the 10 of diamonds. Obviously a lot of... I wish I hadn't put back that card. Okay, keep in mind this is improvised, this is just for fun. But if you remember, the first card that fell was the 10 of spades. I wish I hadn't put it back, because it would make sense. It's someone with a lot of money and a lot of power. Queen of... Okay, I'm going to look for the 10 of spades, because that's the original that fell. Oh, it's here. Okay. See, okay, yeah, it was meant to be. The 10 of spades wanted to come out. So if you think about it, is he still in frame? Yes. See, we have another queen. And it's a queen of diamonds, and then 10 of diamonds. So yeah, it's someone with a lot of means, obviously. So I said that if diamonds came out, that would be confirmation that it was like a commission for a collection. So for a collector. So of course it was, you know, of course it was. But it's very interesting to me that we have also the queen of diamonds. So maybe it's, yeah, like this is a collector, you know. And the fact that it's the 10 of diamonds and the 10 of spades, it just makes me think that it's someone with a lot of money and a lot of power, and they wanted them for their value. So that's like as far as we can tell from cards. Now, for funsies, for funsies only, for fun, I'm going to say that, because if you remember, the first card said they're no longer in France. And I said maybe they're far away. But what if it's someone who was like, what if it is sentimental value? What if it is a private collection from someone who has maybe even a distant relation to that royal family? You know, here in Mexico, I don't know if you know this, but we had an empire imposed by the French in the 19th century, led by Maximilian. So Maximilian and his wife Charlotte were emperor and empress of Mexico for a very brief time in the 19th century, until Maximilian was shot, executed. I'm not going to heavily in that history because I'm not an expert in that time period. But what I'm saying is that there are still people to this day who apparently are descendants of the royal, like the emperors of the Habsburgs. They are still there, and they are still very proud of their Habsburg heritage, and there are still people who pay respect to the tomb of Maximilian. So people who have ties to, or even distant ties to, a royal family in their family tree, always have this sense of pride in their family. So it could be someone who actually had links to that family, who wanted to have the jewels. My, not considering the cards, my guess was more for monetary value, but the cards don't seem to think so. Interesting. This was fun. I think that's that was a reading. I think the cards have spoken. So I'm going to leave it at that. And actually, I wasn't going to upload this to YouTube, but I feel like it might be fun, right? I might upload this. So if I did decide to upload this and you are watching it on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you soon with another video. And in the meantime, I wish you happy reading, whether that be card reading, book reading, weather patterns, charms, pendulum dice, whatever form of reading you prefer. I hope it was fun for you guys. This was longer than I intended. And yeah, that would be it for the video.